So you did. You've come up with something incredible, an invention that could be a real game changer. But to really protect that brilliant idea, you've got to think bigger than just your own backyard. You got to think global. So let's dive in and break down exactly how to do that.
Okay, here's the big question, right? You've got this one amazing invention. How in the world do you protect it in over 150 countries? I know, it sounds impossible. But trust me, there's a clear path through that maze of international law, and we're going to walk it together.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to talk about that first big deadline, look at the two main roads you can take, PCT or direct. We'll decode the timeline and then get into the really important stuff, how you keep your patent alive for the long run.
Okay, let's get into it. The second you file that very first patent application, a clock starts ticking. And that clock leads you to this huge decision point, a real crossroads, exactly 1 year down the line. So, that first filing, that sets what's called your priority date. Think of it as your official spot in line, your stake in the ground. And the most important thing to burn into your memory is that 12-month deadline. Thanks to something called the Paris Convention, you get exactly 1 year from that date to go international and still keep the benefit of that original filing date. It's a huge deal. So, that 12-month mark hits, and now you have a choice to make. I love this analogy. It's like you're planning a trip. Are you the type to buy a flexible, open-ended travel pass that lets you figure it out as you go? Or are you going to book a bunch of direct, non-refundable flights to every city you think you want to visit right here, right now? That flexible pass, that's what we call the Patent Cooperation Treaty Route, or PCT for short. It's the single international application that basically acts as a placeholder, a reservation, in over 150 countries. The other way, the direct flights option, is the direct filing route. You skip the PCT altogether and just start filing individual applications directly in every single country you've already decided on. Now, the magic number for the PCT route, the one thing you really need to remember, is 30. 30 months. The PCT gives you a full 2.5 years from your original filing date before you have to make those big, expensive decisions about which countries you're actually going to pursue a patent in. It's all about buying you precious time. And that time is, without a doubt, the biggest advantage. It means you can push back those major costs, really nail down your business strategy. You even get this super valuable thing called an international search report, which gives you a sneak peek at how patentable your invention might be. Now, what's the catch? Well, it can end up being more expensive overall, and yeah, it does slow down getting your final patent. And let's be super clear on this. There is no such thing as an international patent. The PCT is just a doorway, a gateway. For a startup that needs time to find funding or test the waters, this gateway is an absolute lifeline. Okay, so let's flip the coin and look at the direct filing route. The timeline here is, well, it's a pressure cooker. You have to make all your decisions and file in every single country you're targeting within that tight 12-month window. No extra time. This route is for the planners, the ones who are absolutely certain. If you know for a fact that you only need protection in, say, 2 or 3 specific countries, then yeah, this can be way faster and even cheaper. But the downsides are huge. You've got almost no time to really check out the markets, and bam, you're hit with massive upfront costs for all those different fees and translations. That's why this is usually the play for big established companies that already have their global strategy set in stone. All right, so let's actually walk through what that PCT timeline looks like. It's not just sitting around for 30 months, believe me. There are some really key moments you need to have on your calendar. The whole thing flows pretty logically. It starts at month 0, you file, you get that all-important priority date. Then, by that 12-month deadline we talked about, you file your PCT application. Fast forward to about 18 months in, and your application gets published for the world to see. And all of this is building up to the big one, the 30-month deadline. That's when it's time to enter the national phase. So, entering the national phase, what does that even mean? Well, picture your single PCT application like a spaceship. At the 30-month mark, that spaceship releases a whole bunch of smaller landing pods, and each one is heading for a different country's patent office. Your one application basically splits into a bunch of individual ones. So, what do you have to do? It really boils down to 3 main things. First, you've got to pay up. Every single country or region has its own filing fees. Second, translations. And this is a big one, cost-wise. Your application has to be professionally translated into the local language. And third, you finalize all the local paperwork.
This usually means hiring a local patent agent in each country to handle things on the ground for you. And hey, just because you finally get your patent granted, that's not the finish line. Not even close. It's actually the start of a very long-term relationship. Because to keep that patent alive and kicking, you've got to keep paying. These payments are officially called patent annuities, but you'll also hear them called maintenance or renewal fees. They're just periodic payments you make to the patent office. Think of it like paying rent on your patent. You stop paying, you get evicted, and your protection just vanishes. And this is where you really need to pay attention, because every country plays by its own rules. Just look at the difference here. In the US, you pay these fees a few times, at the 3.5, 7.5, and 11.5 year marks after your patent is granted. But in Europe, it's a whole different ballgame. You're paying every single year, starting from the 3rd year after you first filed, which means you could be paying renewal fees before you even have a granted patent. Crazy, right? So this is the nightmare scenario, isn't it? The question that probably keeps you up at night. After all that time, all that money, what happens if you just miss a payment? Okay, take a deep breath. There is a bit of a safety net. Most places give you a 6-month grace period. You can still pay, but you'll get hit with a late fee. But once that grace period is over, that's it. Your patent is gone. Expired. Trying to get it back is a massive uphill battle. In the US, you have to prove the mistake was unintentional. In Europe, the bar is even higher. You have to prove you took all due care, which is incredibly tough. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, so let's pull it all together. What are the key things you absolutely have to remember to build a smart global patent strategy? Here's your checklist. Number 1, plan for the long game. Don't just budget for filing, you have to budget for years and years of renewal fees. Number 2, protect your foundation. That first application you filed in your home country, it's the base of everything. If it lapses, the whole international strategy comes crashing down. 3, be smart about where you file. Don't just pick countries out of a hat. Where are you selling? Where are you manufacturing? Where are your biggest competitors? And finally, number 4, remember what the PCT is. It's a tool. It's a bridge to buy you time to make smarter choices. It is not the final destination. And I'll leave you with this idea, because I think it just frames this whole thing perfectly. Look, a truly mature renewal strategy isn't about trying to keep every single patent alive forever in every single country. No way. It's about keeping the right patents alive in the right places. It's about strategy, not just spending.